Welcome to the NWR Virtual Resources Series. My name is Kerry Stevenson. Next up, we have Global Lithium Resources, and joining us today is Jamie Wright. He's the Managing Director. Now, the ASX code, as you can see on the screen, is GL1. Now, they're an emerging lithium exploration company, and their primary focus is on their 100% owned Marble Bar Lithium Project, which is over in the Pilbara area of Western Australia. Here to give us an update and all the exciting news, please welcome Jamie Wright. And before I do that, their share price when they listed in May was 20 cents. And I just had a quick look now, it's 40 cents. So if you're a shareholder, you'll be a happy shareholder. Jamie, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. And if you want to ask questions of Jamie while he's presenting, pop it in the Q&A box down below. Over to you, Jamie.
Thank you, Kerry. Good morning, and good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day here in Perth. It's a bit rainy, but I like the rain, so that's a good start. It's also 37 degrees in Marble Bar today. Marble Bar is a bit of a hot destination in Australia, and the reason I know that is that we are a Pilbara-focused lithium explorer, and our project is the Marble Bar Lithium Project. It's an emerging lithium district, and we have a drill rig on site right now exploring for more lithium. The Pilbara is a great place to grow up as a lithium company, and we think we've got a lot of growth ahead of us, and it is my pleasure to share that with you today. But before I get to the presentation, I'd like to start with a photo on the cover, and this photo is really quite illustrative. It shows what we call diamond core from our exciting Archer lithium deposit. And the reason I show this photo is that you can see quite clearly the bladed spodumene crystals which host the lithium mineralization. And a feature of those crystals is that they fluoresce pink and orange under black light, disco lights. And so when we look at our core in our project, we can actually see lithium fluorescing pink and orange, which is really quite exciting when you're out having a look at it.
That's fascinating.
But let's jump into it, hey? We are focused on our Marble Bar Lithium Project, and our project is located in one of the most infrastructure-rich mining jurisdictions on the planet, the Pilbara. But more than that, the Pilbara is also a Tier 1 lithium province, host to the Pilgangoora and Wodgina projects, and both of those are world-class projects. They're a bit more advanced than us, but our project shares a lot of geological similarity to those two projects. Our Marble Bar Lithium Project is a hard rock deposit, spodumene hosted in pegmatites within a greenstone granite contact, remarkably similar. We simply haven't had the time or listed life yet to really uncover what we've got, but our focus for the next little while is to explore our region to see if we can grow our project. Now, we have also made our very first discovery. Our Archer project is a new discovery. It's a new lithium project. Global Lithium discovered this while it was an unlisted company. And whilst Archer is a really good start at 10 million tonnes at 1% lithium oxide, we have got a very, very large prospective area to explore. We have already conducted, in fact, this is our third drilling program in 4 months that is underway. And we have already demonstrated that the lithium mineralization around Archer continues over a greater than 6 kilometre strike, and we have yet to find where the deposit ends. Now that means we've got a lot of active programs going on right now and a lot of ongoing news flow. So our RC drilling program underway at the Marble Bar Lithium Project has already been turning for about a month now. And so we're well into our program. And we look forward to updating the market with news flow as we receive assays and as we seek to update the market with how the program is progressing.
Jamie, sorry to interrupt you. Are you having a lot of people with the assay results? There's a little bit of a lag in the news flow with that. Are you having the same sort of issue, or are you expecting results to be imminent?
Oh, Kerry, assays are a little bit of a bottleneck here in Perth. Look, we've got a great relationship with our laboratory, but the reality of life is it's a busy time in the sector. So what we try and do is make sure that we plan for that in our programs, but recognise that, unfortunately, some of that is a little outside of our control. But we are doing our best working with our laboratory to sort of support us through this process.
Thanks, Jamie.
No problems. Now, we also have, even though we're a lithium company, we have a really exciting gold project called Twin Veins. We've just completed our RC program there, and so the assays are actually at the lab right now, and we look forward to updating the market with those in the next little while. Not only do we have a program going on, but we've also got preliminary metallurgical test work that is commencing on our Archer lithium project, the diamond core, which will hopefully validate whether we have a recoverable, saleable spodumene concentrate. And we are doing this in what can arguably be called the fourth industrial revolution, the exponential uptake of electric vehicles globally. The uptake has more than exceeded people's expectations, and we are seeing a number of commentators forecasting that this uptake will continue to accelerate, and that bodes well for the lithium market for a long time to come. We are already seeing shortages in the lithium supply chain. And for our project, that means we are progressing amongst a really positive marketplace as we move towards uncovering how big our Marble Bar project might be. Now, interestingly, prices have also moved for lithium raw materials, and the spodumene price, which is most relevant for us, has already gone up over 500% this calendar year alone. So when we conducted our IPO, spodumene prices were trading at around $450 a tonne, and they're now 2,400 plus. Global Lithium is also well funded. We've got $7 million in the bank at 30 September, which gives us a really good level of cash and funding to go on and complete our next program and more as we seek to grow our project. Quick word about where we've come from and who we are. Global Lithium has been around as a company for over 3 years, but we only chose to list earlier this year. And so we've been a listed company for around 5 months now. On our IPO, we raised $10 million at 20 cents a share, and we're currently trading at around 41 cents, which capitalizes our company at just over $50 million with $7.3 million in the bank. We have a strong supporting shareholder base, and many of the investors who came into our company pre-IPO still remain a core part of our company and remain core believers in what we are seeking to achieve at the Marble Bar Lithium Project. And we're very grateful for the support of shareholders. And one of those shareholders and early investors, and in fact, the founder of our company, is Dr. Dianmin Chen, who has done a great job stewarding the company through to the IPO and to this point in time. And I like to talk about people because for me, people is the underlying platform for any business. And so Dianmin's been a strong leader through this time. My background is, I've got degrees in mining engineering, geology, and corporate finance, but I've never practiced in any of those things. My career has been split halfway between investment banking and halfway between helping bulk commodity mining projects here in Western Australia get to that next value point, whether it be to explore, to grow, to fund, to develop. And I've got a history of developing offtake-driven commodity projects, just like Archer. And what attracted me to this company was the enviable exploration upside that Archer presents, but also its location in the Pilbara with respect to infrastructure and logistics. And then rounding out our board, we have Warwick Hazeldine as our chairman. Warwick is a very well-known member of the investor relations community here in Perth and has brought skills to the board, including a very deep understanding and participation in a number of key lithium transactions that have crystallized the market here in the last little while. Probably the most important person in the organisation, though, is Brian Burke, our exploration manager. Now, Brian is charged with discovering more lithium at the Archer project and has a history of success in that area in the Pilbara. He was responsible for leading Altura's Pilgangoora project from greenfields to 40 million tonnes of resources in the last little while. So we're very lucky to have Brian involved, and we have a strategic relationship with a group called Resource Potentials, who are our outsourced technical team. Now, if people are the platform for any business, and then we like to think our values are our pillars for what we try and do in our community, with our stakeholders and others. And even though we're a small company, we've already commenced building a framework, an ESG and sustainability framework that helps us provide the best corporate stewardship we can in our area. And that includes engaging with our local community. It includes the use of local businesses, includes engaging with traditional owners and other key stakeholders around us. Turning to our project now, the Marble Bar Lithium Project. Now, forgive me if I get a little technical. I've got a geology background. We are an emerging hard rock lithium discovery. Now, what I like about this slide and what I want to draw your attention to is the scale bar. So this is a plan view of our Marble Bar Lithium Project tenement suite. And the scale bar there is a 5-kilometre scale bar. And that's really important because if you can see on the map here, where we have Archer, if we look to the south, we can demonstrate lithium mineralization in drilling across a 15-kilometre distance. That's a really long way. And so the opportunity for us and where we're spending time is to connect the dots between those lithium mineralizations. We've already spent a lot of time understanding what's around us at Archer, and we are now starting to move south towards that next sort of intersection of where we have lithium mineralization. Because of the size of our area, we've still only really just scratched the surface of our potential. And I guess that's the opportunity for exploration is, what have we got that sits between Archer and that southern strategy, as we call it? And can we grow something that's going to be world-class in time? Speaking very briefly about Archer, Archer is a new discovery, outcrops at surface, multiple spodumene-bearing pegmatites. The swarm appears to extend for more than 6 kilometres strike and remains open. And we can see here in our drill results before we listed 16 metres at 1.4% from 37 metres. That's a really good start. That's the kind of pegmatite we'd like to follow. And that one outcrops at surface. I've walked across the top of that one and it appears within 100 metres of the main road. So not only are we seeing really good intercepts, but we're seeing them in a location that has ready access to infrastructure. And I'll touch on that a bit later. Because we've already run programs and projects since listing, we've already started to demonstrate that we can repeat those style of intercepts. And in our last program, we intersected 28 metres at 1.5% lithium from 69 metres. Now that wasn't true width, but I'm sure you'll agree it's a pretty exciting result from our first program post-listing. And we're up there right now drilling to see if we can grow that. Stepping again through the technical area here, we've got a bit of a plan view on our left and a cross-section on our right. And really what I want to highlight here is the Marble Bar Road, which sort of zooms around the east side of our project area there, provides us ready access to the site. It's 15 minutes drive from the town of Marble Bar. And then you'll see here on the right-hand side, this is the cross-section through our 28-metre intercept. What it shows is we've got potentially nice thick pegmatites that dip very shallowly to the east back towards where we interpret the source fluids to come from. And we think that provides a lot of open areas for us to go and explore as part of this program and future programs. But our story is not about Archer. It's actually about exploration and growing our project to see what we might have outside. Now, this dotted box is actually what we were just looking at. And if we zoom out a little bit, we can see that we've got a very large project area, and that's just within our current tenement 4309. We've bought the tenements to the south just recently. I'll dwell on those in a sec. But even in our existing area here, the red dots represent our last program, and we can see from that that we are demonstrating that the lithium mineralization extends well beyond what we thought Archer could be. And that provides us a really good platform to go and conduct our next exploration program. What we see in the area is a lot of it's covered by a thin layer of sediment, and that makes exploration for pegmatites quite interesting, but it provides an opportunity for us to systematically explore the area for further discoveries. And that's what we're doing right now. So we have a program going on right now. It's around 10,000 metres of drilling. I don't like to put a precise number on it because it's never precise, it's exploration. But what we've done in the last little while is we've invested in trying to upskill ourselves with respect to how we look at our Marble Bar project. And on the right-hand side here, a good example of that is our innovative use of drone photography. The top picture here is what we would see on Google Earth. And the bottom photo here is what we've achieved by flying high-resolution drone photography across our project site. And what that lets our geologists do is map what they see as prospective areas from Perth and then simply go to the field to validate. And this little image here shows how we are already using that system and some other smarts to identify over 100 pegmatite trends for us to explore. And we've only just really started to scratch the surface. We're also developing what we call a southern strategy, which is where we're now pushing down to the tenements that we've recently acquired. They're a little bit earlier stage than the Archer project area, but of course that's part of our systematic exploration, is to step methodically through the process and undertake the same targeting exercise that we've already done around Archer. Outside of Archer, we have an emerging gold story. While we are lithium focused, it's very hard not to get excited about our gold, particularly our Twin Veins prospect, which is located up in the northern right-hand side of our project suite, or a tenement suite rather. And Twin Veins is a 1 kilometre long soils and rock chip anomaly with quartz veining at surface. Now that's exciting for us because we put a few RC holes in there in our last program, and we returned 12 metres at 2.95 grams per tonne, which is actually a really exciting intercept. And so part of our fourth quarter program this year is to go back and see if we can't extend that mineralisation and conduct some more exploration to see if we can grow that into a standalone project.
Jamie, if your focus was on lithium, how did you come across the Twin Veins project? Did you stumble across it? Did you guys go out and was there historical data, or what was the background to that?
Kerry, Marble Bar is a renowned gold district. And when we acquired our tenement package a couple of years ago, we were strong believers in the lithium, but we also knew that we had quite a lot of gold potential in the north. We have had a focus on lithium, but the work that we've done on the gold in the background, we think is really exciting, but we don't want to distract from the story too much until we can develop the gold to a point where we think it is going to have its own life cycle.
Got it.
I want to touch now on infrastructure and access. I mean, this is dear to my heart as a project developer, and our project is located in a pretty enviable spot when it comes to logistics. Our project is located right next to a sealed road that if we travel 2 hours to the left, we get to Port Hedland, an export port, one of the world's largest deep water ports, and a port that already exports spodumene concentrate. We have quad road trains carting bulk commodities straight past our deposit every day through to Port Hedland. In fact, there's a truck every 15 minutes. To the right-hand side, we are 15 minutes drive from the town of Marble Bar, which is a vibrant remote community. There's a petrol station, there's a pub, there's 4 types of accommodation, there's council offices. It is just an enviable place for us to use as a springboard to conduct our exploration. So we're not a remote site. We've already ticked a number of boxes that we need for if we find and discover a potential economic recoverable ore body. In addition to that, we've also introduced an arrangement with a local mining company where they are developing water infrastructure on our leases. And in a couple of years' time, they are obliged to hand those leases back to us if we want them. Now, that means we've ticked the box on nearby town, infrastructure, road, access to port and water, which in the Pilbara means we've ticked a lot of what we need to tick to help us towards project development should we get there. And I should draw your attention here. This is our illustrious chairman in front of the water tank at Marble Bar, doing a great job.
I wondered what that was.
It's a fantastic part of the world, Kerry, if you get to go up there.
Jamie.
Timeline-wise, I just want to touch on, we've got a program going now. We've got our preliminary metallurgical work going now, and we've got assays due probably towards the end of this year, start of next year. And assuming the program goes well, we'll look to go into a resource update and further programs as we move into 2022. I won't dwell on this slide because I think most people will know this story better than me, but EVs are now a global mega trend. There is just no denying it. And for us, having an uncommitted spodumene mineral resource in the Pilbara is a pretty strategic place to be. And I'll share with you that we get calls all of the time. There is such a shortage or market deficit at the moment that there is a lot of interest in what we're doing, even though we're still relatively early stage, because of the paradigm that is the structural shift in how consumers are looking at cars and vehicle transportation. What I thought I'd show here is just a simple example of how the BMW group is migrating its sales from the internal combustion engine through to electric vehicles, and they've experienced a 41% year-on-year growth in their sales. And electric vehicles are now 13% of their total sales, which I think is really exciting.
Wow.
And we can only see that increasing over time. We don't see that so much here in Perth, but certainly in Europe and China and the US, it is more than a dinner conversation. It is actually reality. And that's kind of us, Kerry. So in summary, we think we've got a valuable spot in the Tier 1 Pilbara region. We've got a really good starter mineral resource. We've got some diamond core and network underway to demonstrate that. We've got a pretty good spot with respect to logistics and infrastructure and a strong team. So thank you very much.
And Jamie, thank you for being spot on time. Well done, you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a question for Jamie, now is the time to pop it in the Q&A panel at the bottom of the screen there, and I'll be sure to ask Jamie the question. First one is from John. He says, wasn't the pink in your first page, illuminating the core, full of less desirable lepidolite?
Oh, this slide?
The very first one, the very first one, your very first one where you said, this is the core where we put on
this one. Okay.
Right at the front.
Do you know what?
So what John's saying is the pink, isn't that lepidolite, which is the less desirable component?
John, that's a really insightful question. The answer is no, it is definitely spodumene. Lepidolite is purple-pink in natural light, whereas spodumene is typically a kind of clear to greenish color, although it can trend towards purple. But it's the fluorescence under the black light that differentiates it. The lepidolite doesn't fluoresce.
There you go. How much do you know about the metallurgy of the project?
We are conducting our preliminary metallurgical work right now, and that has a natural timeline to progress. We're using NAGROM, which is the sort of benchmark laboratory here in Perth for all of the lithium projects in our state. As that program progresses, we'll be able to update the market more. We don't expect to see anything too complex in our core. It looks quite clean, and the feedback that we've had has been positive so far. But until we get the results, it's almost impossible to tell. Absolutely.
Next question from Nick. You currently have an inferred mineral resource of 10 million tonnes at 1.0 from memory. What is a minimum economical resource at a high level?
Oh, gosh, I wish I knew. Our focus at the moment is to see what we've got. We are busily trying to explore our whole area before we start to zoom in and get granular on how big we need to be. Because we have a large area to explore, what we don't want to do is jump into a project development pathway too early, because we need to do justice to see what we might have. I wish I had a crystal ball to know exactly how big is the right size.
Exactly. Andre says, give us a realistic goal you have to grow your resource base over the next 6 to 12 months.
Oh, gosh.
How long's the piece of string, I guess?
Well, look, I can answer by saying that our focus is to explore. Our focus is to seek to grow our resources in the area. At this stage, though, it's a little premature to start calling what the size might be or even where it may come from. What I'm hoping I've demonstrated in our slide pack is that we are approaching that question methodically, and we're approaching it in a way that sees us move progressively away from Archer and into new areas, which creates an opportunity for further programs, for further news flow.
Lots of questions here, Jamie. Next one is, what other lithium explorers producers are in the vicinity of Archer, and who's your competition, I guess, in the area?
Sure, that's also a really good question. So for us, we have 2 world-class deposits located about 90 kilometres immediately to our west, which in the Pilbara is a skipping stone throw away. Pilbara is owned by Pilbara Minerals, which is a $6.3 billion company listed on ASX, a producing company that exports through Port Hedland. And then we have Wodgina, which is owned by a joint venture between Albemarle, one of the world's largest lithium companies, and Mineral Resources, an ASX company. That project isn't operating at the moment, however, it is very large. It's a sort of plus 200 million tonne category. What our project is very similar. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kerry. I didn't mean.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that our project shares a lot of geological similarity with those two projects. We're just a lot earlier in terms of our life cycle.
The Twin Veins project, if they showed true potential, would you look at, I think you did mention this, would you look at spinning them off into a separate entity further down the track?
Oh, I actually think we're a little early to make that decision, Kerry. I think it's what I like about the project is it's got that potential, which is really exciting when you go and visit and you walk for a kilometre before you get to the end of the soils anomaly. But I think we need to do a bit more work on it before we can really start to understand what it might be. But then more regionally, we've got a lot of gold projects, prospects that we haven't even drilled or really explored. So for us, we've got to probably somehow manage resources so that we can do justice on our gold while not losing focus on the lithium.
Absolutely. Final question. With ESG becoming an important reporting method for companies, how much focus is GL1 putting into that and your everyday activities?
ESG and sustainability as a director is always front of mind, particularly in Western Australia. And so we like to think through those aspects in pretty much every decision we make, because in the current environment, we want to be seen to be doing the right thing and being a good corporate citizen. And to do that means we need to be visible and transparent in the way we go about it. And by thinking it through in every decision, we'd like to think we're moving towards that framework.
Well, on that very note of a positive ESG answer, Jamie Wright, Managing Director, Global Lithium, ASX code GL1. Thank you so much for joining us at the NWR Virtual Resources Series, and we'll see you soon. Well done.
Thank you, Kerry. See you later. Bye.